I don't even know what I'm looking at here. I could be making it worse. Hopefully not. Well, uh-oh. I don't think I should have done that. It hissed at me. We'll just pretend we didn't see that. Hello and welcome to the shop. I'm Jared and this is the Questionable Garage, and we have got in front of me my 2009 Chevy Tahoe 2-mode hybrid. One of my absolute favorite vehicles, and it's my daily driver right now. And Tyler's still very wrong. This is not the dumbest hybrid ever made. Just because you don't know how to drive it doesn't make it dumb. But I have had a recurring problem with the truck. That power steering issue. We replaced the sensor. We've tried all the calibrations and it seemed hopeless until a viewer sent me an email and he's given me a new lead that we're gonna look at today. And we're also gonna address another just real small problem with it. I'm pretty sure the motor mounts are completely shot because when you stand on the gas, you get a really loud clunk. I think it's just the motor mounts. Talking with the engineers during one of the EV1 visits, they did mention this is the first time they tried this particular style of motor mount. Makes a lot of sense. So we're gonna get this thing in the air. We might finally get this thing fixed. So hood's up. Now we're not working on high voltage, so we don't need to disable anything yet. But again, hybrid, let's talk safety. If you were going to be touching the orange, disconnect your 12 volt, and then we need to remove that service plug. But since what we're doing involves none of that, we just pick it up in the air and get to work. All right, so what did that email say? It said, Jared, you replaced the wrong steering angle sensor. This is our steering angle sensor. And its only job is to tell the computer which direction you've turned the steering wheel. And currently, it's telling us nothing. So, that is your steering angle sensor. So, to replace it, I've got a standard 131. So, just slide it all back in and we kind of do opposite of removal. I replaced the one that is for the traction control and stability control, but the hybrid power steering apparently has a second one. Now, I've not been under here yet to really look at anything, but the second one is apparently in the steering rack somewhere. And judging by that connector right there, that might be it. I don't know if I can get it, but he said his problem was because of corrosion on that connector. So we're going to set up, we're going to unplug that and see what we can do. And then the next thing we're doing is going to be our motor mounts here. Now, given that this is our two-wheel drive version, they're not horribly awful to get to. So I've got a set of motor mounts and a trans mount back here for us to change out. You know, we'll tell more when it's off, but that does look like it might be completely sagged out and wore out. So let's go ahead and pull. No, we don't have to. I'm just gonna put you back on the tripod and let's get a look at this wiring. You might have the same problem I've got. You're ordering a bunch of different parts. You're not necessarily keeping the best track of where you're spending your money on what card, out of what bank account. Well, that's where today's sponsor, Monarch, is gonna help you out. You've probably seen budget tracking apps out there. There's free services, there's all kinds of different tiers, and you're flooded with advertisements. And that's where Monarch is different. With Monarch, you are the customer, not the product. With Monarch, they're not trying to be just a simple budgeting app that's gonna get you month to month. Monarch's goal is to give you the tools and the dashboard to see your long-term financial goals and long-term success. So how are they doing that? Well, like I said, they have that convenient dashboard that once you link all of your accounts, you can see it all in one spot. One of the standout features to me is it is the best couples financial planning app. Because it so seamlessly integrates multiple different accounts and charge cards, you're able to set up a easy to read couples dashboard. Now that means for better or for worse, when you drop that $1,800 on your latest car upgrade, your partner is gonna see it right away. But it makes it a little bit less awkward than when that credit card receipt comes in. Also, if you're trying to get a little bit of insight, they have AI built in, ready to look at how your budgeting and financials are going, what your net worth is, explain your goals, and it's gonna help set up some different plans to help you achieve those goals. Also, something else I found really cool is it's not just an app. You can seamlessly jump between the desktop version and the mobile version. Same interface, same convenience, same Monarch. So if you guys are ready to take that first step to long-term financial freedom and absolute clarity with your financial planning, join Monarch. Click that QR code, scan that QR code floating around the screen, link in the description below. Use Garage50 during your checkout. That's gonna save you 50% off your first year with Monarch. Thank you to Monarch for sponsoring this episode. Let's get back onto the Tahoe. So there's 2 bolts to maybe an optical sensor that then runs over to the motor. So, where did he say the corrosion was? All right, feeling like a 20 Torx. Tell you what, the worst part of our recovery lately for the knee has been remembering constantly to walk right. The whole reason I ended up going in the first time was my back and hip were hurting. First thing they saw, were like, I was walking really messed up and determined the knee was all the source of my problem. Well, let me tell you what, rewriting how your brain works is not an easy thing to do. I don't even know what I'm looking at here. I could be making it worse. Hopefully not. We'll see. Well, I don't think I should have done that. It hissed at me. Uh-oh. That hole, we'll just pretend we didn't see that. Doesn't always work. But he said there is a bunch of corrosion. I probably should have just, undid the plug first. No, that baby's spotless. Huh. Well, I guess in slightly good news, even though it hissed at me, there doesn't appear to be any water intrusion there. But I think I might be ordering a steering rack, if I can even find one. I guess we'll pull that pan, kind of work our way towards these connectors. What did I do? Let me put that back together. Don't do it. Well, I followed all the connectors I could find, and I hope I didn't break it worse. So let's do motor mounts, Let's just knock off some of the other problems. We got 3 mounts, bolts to the frame, and then there's 4 on to the motor, our LFA. I love that engine designation. All of us car nerds get it. Greatest sounding engine of all time, Lexus LFA. Maybe not so much the all aluminum 6-liter hybrid LS variant, but it can share the name. We don't mind. Low-key do kind of wish these were just nuts you put a gun on and run off from the bottom, but golly. I don't think they should not be Loctited. My goodness. I thought that was gonna be the easy one. All right, let me get a shorter 15, see if that doesn't really make a difference, but we'll try it. It's so weird looking up in this cavity, where the alternator would be, mechanical power steering pump would be. All you got, crank pulley, water pump, an idler, and a tensioner. So we've had that philosophical discussion about dumb hybrids and how my argument for the GMT 800 and what are your stances on it? What makes it dumb? To me, it's a vehicle that you don't see an appreciable difference. And again, this truck just launched at the wrong time, but I definitely would not call it dumb. Ugh. Now this is the one I'm thinking is going to be the worst of the lot. Come on. I'm half tempted to run taps through that when we're done. Because I can already tell right now, this is not going to be fun. Passenger side. This side that has everything missing, it's all sitting. You know, you got a even bigger AC compressor on the other side. Can I even get to that bolt? Oh no. 1 bolt. 2 bolt. I might have to try to come pull the wheel, come through the wheel well. So much crud. That's okay, we'll get there. I had thought about trying this on my back. I'm kind of glad in hindsight I changed my mind. Bolt 1 of 7. I guess you could almost even say 14. I have no clue why that was such a nightmare. I'm sure there's 3 of you that probably enjoy the grunting. I'm just gonna switch it over and let's play some good music while I get these out, and we'll pick you back up. You know when you tell yourself, hey, this isn't going to be too bad? It looks straightforward, but let me tell you, it's not as easy as it looks. But we've got the motor mounts out, and I've got them on the table, and let's take a closer look at them. So, this is one of my brand new replacements. Unfortunately, I could not locate OEM anymore. Apparently, they're discontinued. I like OEM whenever possible on the motor mounts, unless it's a race car, then you can kind of tweak a little bit there. So I found the best rated aftermarket. There's some out there, some that are better tied to a boat, but I wanted to show you. So we've got these pretty much matched up, and you can kind of see the height difference between these two. This is a collapsed mount, but not a failed one. If we go ahead and flip it over, you can kind of see the rubber. She's squishing up, giving up a little bit compared to our new one. This crossbar here, you can see how much the rubber has been shifting around and squirting out compared to our new one. This one here, that's mostly bent, but doesn't look too bad, right? Nope. This is what we call a failed mount. And you can tell that it's failed by the fact that your one-piece rubber is now a two-piece rubber. So that loud banging and popping, I got it right. You know, we're 50% for the day. Easy? It was not. A busted motor mount? It was. So I'm going to actually run a tap through those frame holes, so hopefully those bolts go in a little bit easier. We're going to get them thrown in. Then let's get on to that transmission mount, and then I guess we'll be 50% for the day. We didn't figure out that power steering yet, which is a bummer. I'm still going to work on that once we get it back down. I'm going to chase that whole wiring harness. But motor mounts at least are kind of working themselves out. Man. You ever come across a project that just kicks your butt? That's me. You know, part of it is not being 100%, but still, Good news is, we're done. Maybe I should have showed you the motor mount. It was, 4 hole bolts and very boring. Or trans mount. We did the motor mounts. It came out and went right back in. No problem. Those of you who have done these motor mounts, what is your trick? Because I did swivels, I did deeps, I did mids, I top, bottom. I tried coming from everywhere, but they are in there, which I am really excited about. Now, let me show you the trans mount just because it's out. Now, what's interesting is when you look at it, it looks perfectly fine. I was just confused by the design of it earlier. It doesn't look bad. It's designed to always just sit down, and I guess if you really, well, actually no, it's bolted in, so it can't move. Never mind on that part. But it looked fine until I set them side by side, and that's about 1/8 of an inch. It was 1/8 of an inch shorter, so it had collapsed that much. So between that and realistically, that 2-piece mount, I think we made this thing a whole lot better. But let's lower the truck and see if I can track down that viewer tip of corrosion in the power steering connector, because we didn't have it down below. All of that looked good. I let the vacuum out of the rack. Hopefully that's not a problem. So let's check the other plugs we can find. Well, here, let me grab the light. That blue wire next to the orange wire, that's our steering. Runs up, where did it go? Basically, it's right there. No corrosion. Nice and clean. So, I was hopeful. Thank you very much, though. You know who you are. Emailed me. I know most likely need a rack, which is a bummer. I don't think I can find that position sensor anywhere. Finding a steering rack is just about as pretty much impossible, but I'm on the hunt for the parts. I still have one more thing to do. We're going to take this for a drive, make sure our motor mounts are good, and I've got one more upgrade we are doing to the Tahoe. Maybe 2 if it shows up in time. So, while we can't do the major, big, crazy, heavy work, we're going to fix all the other broken stuff in the fleet because there's a lot of it. So I'm going to get the air boxes back on. Let me show you one more thing. Don't do this. If you're putting a screw clamp on, remove the spring clamp. I don't want to deal with coolant right now, so it's just going to stay that way, but come on. That's just bad work. All right, so we are back in the Tahoe, going through a parking lot where before you would hear the banging of the engine whenever you would touch the gas a little bit, because that motor mount, that 1-piece motor mount's 2-piece. But listen, there's no loud thrashing or banging of a big heavy engine around, which honestly makes this thing so much nicer to drive. The other thing that would happen is it would go into the 4-cylinder mode, and you would actually feel a slight vibration pulsing through. Big reason is when you make this V8 a 4-cylinder, it's not the most balanced thing, so they had to work real aggressively with the motor mounts to keep the NVH down. Now, if you've not heard NVH, that's noise, vibration, harshness. And that's something we used in the dealer, rating the quality of vehicles and things like that as we would work through. But it's so much better, except for one thing that's NVH related. Now, I'd love to have the power steering area off the DIC. I'm in the market for a steering rack so I can take one fully apart and try to find that sensor and replace it. If you've got one, let me know. Or Richard, Dirty Panda, he's getting ready to send me his too if he can get it out of storage. But, you guys are a little dirty. There's one more thing, and I have tried to catch it audibly, but these tires have a lot of noise. Now, part of a hybrid Tahoe, they did make them lighter, less sound deadening, things like that, but they didn't go that far to where I should be dealing with tire noise. I go into the corners, they just kind of roar. Going down the highway, they're kind of roaring, and it's really disappointing. They're Michelin's. So we are going to drive back to the shop after our successful test drive of not having engine mount noise, and I'm going to show you how we're going to fix our road noise problem. And I guarantee 80% of you are going to call me crazy. All right, you guys may be asking yourself, Jared, you've got Michelin's on the truck. You're complaining about road noise.
Normally I've had really good experiences with them. I don't know what it is, but again, these make a lot more noise than I would like to have going down the road. So I told you I was doing something that would make a lot of people confused. We're taking the Michelins off and we're putting on a set of all-terrains. I've got a set of the Nitto Terra Grappler G3. It's their new design. I actually have a set that we put on a Powder Keg, our 92 big block OBS truck. I put it on there just because I wanted a tougher looking tire. And it was a lot quieter than the tires I took off. So I figured, why not? Let's try that again. Let's take a set of highway tread tires off, throw a set of all-terrains on it, and then we can see if we can get it just a little bit quieter. It's gonna look a whole lot more aggressive, you know, for that two-wheel drive hybrid, but, you know, hopefully we'll be a little quieter. So let's get over to the tire machine, get the last one thrown on, and go hit the road. Well, all right, it's actually the next day. We are outside after our drive. We've got those new tires on. We've got new motor mounts in, and it is wonderful to drive again. We no longer have that banging motor mount. The trans mount's nice and tight. I still have the steering angle. You know, we failed a little bit, but the real question is, did all-terrains make it a little better to drive? And first off, those did better through the feet of standing water. But the question is, was it quieter? Well, let's check with two past versions of Jared. Is it quieter going through a parking lot at 20 miles an hour? Yep. Quieter on the highway going highway speeds? Surprisingly, it is. So yeah, definitely not normal that you're gonna throw all-terrains on to get a quiet ride. I'm not telling you to take off your expensive tires and throw these on just because, but if you're looking for a new tire that you want to look pretty good, you know, they look good there, they look good there, it's a viable option. But now we are back. I've got it full daily driver status. I'm happy with it. I really love this car. I hate that the world makes fun of the two modes so much because it is a really good vehicle if you drive it right. It's not going to be a Prius, but if you do city, you do around town, you're gonna get good fuel economy. But I am now left with, can I even find the part I need to fix it? Which honestly is the problem for them, is sometimes you just can't get parts to fix it. Speaking of parts, some of you guys are gonna be excited. Do you remember the real world's dumbest hybrid? We're gathering some parts for that because I decided it deserves a partial restoration. So we are gonna fix that thing up coming up really soon. But for now, I've got to get back inside. I've got 2 pickup trucks to get working and a flurry of other projects. So I appreciate you guys, as always, watching and hanging out with us in the shop, whether we're building big block 300Zs or making the hybrid a little bit better for daily driver use. I'm Jared, reminding you guys to always make questionable choices and check your tire pressures. Get that good fuel economy you deserve. We'll see you next time.